In today's episode, we're going to learn how to take an old knackered axe head like this and turn it into this, a perfectly sharp enough splitting axe with an edge now that will cut paper, a nice bite for it to go into the wood and separate with. So my name's Rob Yates, for those of you I haven't met, and we're going to be looking at this old axe head today and how to transform it into a sharp, reconditioned object that is perfectly functional in today's world. Just looking at this axe head, it was made in 1963, so I guess that puts it, 57 years old. And I love collecting old bits of equipment and tools like this from the 60s, 70s, and even before that, because I find that the quality is so much better than what we can buy today. So the idea of finding this and restoring it just really appeals to me. Now in another future video, we'll talk about prevention, how to stop your axe head and your axe getting knackered like this one. But today, maybe you've got an axe in your workshop, your shed, your tree felling kit, whatever it might be that looks like this. Today, let's go and work out how we can get it back to being really functional. Now we're going to do that using a small amount of equipment. We've got a rasp, we've got a very aggressive file, we've got a clamp, and we've got a 600 grit sharpening stone, a 2000 grit sharpening stone, and a piece of wet and dry sandpaper. Let's get busy, shall we? So to start with, we have to work out, what is this axe designed for? Is it for carpentry? Is it for felling? Or is it for splitting? Now you can find that information out on the internet, but each one of those has a thing we need to think of with regards to how we sharpen it. Now this axe head was designed for splitting. That means that it doesn't need to have a super sharp edge. What it actually needs to do is have a sharp enough edge here to bite into the wood when the axe is swung down, followed by a 35 to 45 degree camber coming back up here at this edge here, on both sides that is, so that when it gets into the wood and gets in, it actually opens the wood up as it gets further and further and further down. You can also tell this is for splitting from the weight of the axe. You certainly wouldn't want to be swinging that around to chop a tree down, do carpentry or bushcraft stuff. So we've identified how the axe needs to be sharpened based upon what sort of axe it is. Be it a hatchet for like small campcraft stuff, will have a sharper edge than a splitting axe like this, and of course the hatchet will be lighter. So we've identified, and we're just going to identify its use, and the profile we're going to sharpen it against is this bit just here that's already present. Now with something this old and this knackered and this frankly blunt, I can just run my hand on there, look. We're going to use our rasp, and what we're going to do is just gently follow. We're going to follow this line just here. Now you can probably see that if I change the angle of the camera. So we're going to follow this line here. You can see it slopes down. We're just going to follow that with the rasp. We're not going to try and not take too much off the top. Very little bit, and just follow this gentle, like 40 degree angle that's on here. And what we're looking to do is take out any burrs or notches or whatever else there is on the axe. We'll do that on one side and just get a nice shape to it, and then we're going to flip it on and do the other side. Let's get busy. And then switch it over and do the other side. Now while you're doing this, it's important to keep the shape of the axe head in place. That means that we're spending as much time taking off from the toe or the heel as we are from the head of the axe face here. And we're just generally cleaning it up, and already I can feel it getting sharper along here. What we're looking to do is take out these burrs and any of these little notches, and you'll notice often on most axes that one side is easier to work than the other side, and that's just because of how they've been sharpened in the past, and this is the harder side for certain. Now, ideally, I want to go away from the axe as I sharpen, but you can't make an axe head like this any more knackered than it already is. So let's not worry so much, and if it's more effective and efficient to come back towards the axe, then equally we can do that if that works for you as well. It's much more aggressive doing it this way. You can see when you go down here how much you've got to do. So you can see that the axe is making some progress now. We've got I'll hold this around where you can see it. Oops. We've got it both cleaned up and a lot of the burrs gone from both sides. And because it's a splitting axe, we don't have to worry so much about taking everything out. What we want to do is give it an edge that bites, followed by a nice chunk where it can separate through here. So we're just going to spend a few more minutes with being quite aggressive, getting this edge right on here with the rasp, and then we're going to move on to a sharpening file. So I really like little tools like this because it can fit in my pocket. I can have it with my chainsaw, I can have it with my axes when I'm out in the field working. It can sharpen my knife, it can sharpen pretty much everything. And it's nice and simple and light to carry. So we're going to use that now. We're just gently going to go and follow the concourse, the angle that we've created, just to go and take off some of the burrs that are on there and start to get this edge more attractive for the wood when it makes contact with it. You're going to be nice and gentle, and already if I was to run my finger along here, it would actually cut my finger, which is a really nice sign that it's got its bite back. So we're just going to spend a few more minutes having a play with this, and then we're going to move on to a play with this, and that's probably all we need to do before we start working with the sandpaper. Let's get busy. Next toy. Oh, that will cut paper now. So that was quite quick. Let's just finish off the rest of this axe head with some sandpaper, and we'll have completed this process. That's the end result. One nice axe head. All we've got to do now is find an appropriate handle for it. That'll happen in a future video, and we can then get busy using this 1963 splitting axe, which by the way I got for free.